Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Let's just grab the... oh, that's not right. Let's just grab the link here real quick. I wish that that link was a little easier. The link that it gives you in over here. See, over here, it gives you a link. But it's like, it's not the one that's like specific to your video. I want the one that's specific to my video that you can like use after I'm streaming. I have to come over here. And it's annoying. Oh yes, we need to pop up Discord. Yes, there we go. And that one. And then for Twitch, you don't get that, you know, permanent link. You just get Twitch. Okay, so let's look at what happened. Okay, so we had a pretty decent move up on Friday, if you will recall. I don't remember taking any trades on Friday. I remember it being really slow. Let's see here. Yes, sir. That's right. Yeah. It went up after we left. People closing out positions. Kind of at the top of our range here. Actually, we did break through. Interesting. We did break through this 24.5, didn't we? Quite convincingly so. So, now we have to start looking at like 120, 300. Oh, which is exactly where they stopped. Interesting. Okay. So that's what's going on in Treasuries. We could see, right now we're in range extension long, and we could see sellers come in here at this point. In the E-mini, wow, we're up significantly in the E-mini. So much so that I need to go back to the daily chart now. Okay. So we could break out of this. Whoa. Or they could fall apart here. But I really like the just the fact that it's already coming up at it on the open. That's pretty positive. I like that. I'll laugh because there was a news article the other day that was like Donald Trump took you know, responsibility for this stock rally, so he'll own its crash. And I'm like, how do you know that it's going to crash? You don't know that. Next week we could make a new all-time high, and then what are you going to say? They never learn. Okay. And then Bitcoin. You can see here, once again, on the futures, we have a slight rise, and they sold it. Wall Street is shorting the FUs, shorting TF, the futures. Let's just pull up our other chart here, so I can kind of show you the stock patterns I'm seeing. It still seems to... Okay, well, just here's a Bitcoin Cash. That's a pretty good, you know, support there. But, you know, we're not out of the woods. If we can get above 1,300 in Bitcoin Cash, that would be really positive. But in Bitcoin, and let's look at it on GDAX if we can. Here we go. In Bitcoin, we've kind of been getting this thing. You know, I could probably draw a line there if I, like that. Yeah. Oh, pretty close. Pretty close. Maybe not that line. Maybe that line. Something like that. Yeah, it's close. Anyways, there's a trend line there, it looks like. So if we could convincingly break up today, I wouldn't
Block
be...
buy.
Oh my. Wow. Okay, so they busted through there at 30. With quite a bit of volume there, and it's before the open. Curious. Oh yes, we have to check one last thing. Forex Factory. Okay, so not much significant news today. We have some... Oh, Fed Chair Powell testifies tomorrow. That is going to make things interesting. Preliminary GDP quarter over quarter, that will be important. Current account, core PCE. PCE is price consumer index, right? Change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers. Yep. A very important number. It's inflation and Canadian GDP. So we have a few important numbers, and keep in mind it is going to be the beginning of the week, starting Thursday, or the month starting Thursday, and we tend to buy. So, well, that was a pretty quick move up, wasn't it? Okay. Yep, we got a good number of people watching. Thank you for watching as always. What else do we got? We're watching. I just not sure I want to take a long right here. When choosing between stocks and bonds, I would choose equities in a minute, says Buffett. We've bought more Apple than anything else in the last year. Yeah, I love it. There are 3 ways to go broke: liquor, ladies, and leverage. Well, it's true. The new GOP tax law benefits Berkshire and acts as a huge tailwind for businesses. Well, I would sure effing hope so, because all Berkshire Hathaway does is invest in other companies. And wouldn't you want more investment in companies so that we can grow the economy? You know, complain about Berkshire Hathaway making money. I mean, Warren Buffett. Okay, Warren Buffett himself, he could use to have a little bit less money. But I am happy that Berkshire Hathaway has more money. That's good for the market. Samsung Galaxy S9 still sets pace for the Android, but looks a lot like last year's phone. Boo! Oh, that's the phone that I'm gonna get. Okay, let's see.
Everyone.
Nope. I don't want the video here. Let's look at that. I like to look at Engadget for this sort of stuff. The devil is in the details. Ah, that's not the kind of headline I wanted to see. Oh, actually, I like what they're getting to know. The Galaxy S9 is like unwrapping a present you think you've already opened. On the surface, it looks familiar, but once you peel back the layers, you'll notice the contents are new. That's not to say that the changes between the Galaxy S9 and S8 are insignificant. There's tons of them, and you'll have to look carefully to spot them all, but when considered as a package, this update feels more incremental than monumental, at least based on our brief time with it. Okay. I was really hoping to see Galaxy X. No Galaxy X, huh? in the past 24 hours. Okay, they did say something about it. They are working to ensure that the handset isn't just a gimmick. I need complete confidence that we're delivering the best user experience when we're launching a new category. Oh. He refused to offer more info on the phone, saying that he'll do that when the time comes to show off the handset. So they're definitely making it, and they're close. But I am not getting a Galaxy X this month. Bum, 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 ba-dum. Well, that looks like something that's going to make a new high to me. Although the volume here is a little bit more nuanced than I would prefer to be buying into. Oh, hello, Delta. Posting in the stream channel is a good way, yeah. I got to make sure I've looked in everything. Make sure nobody's doing anything fishy in our Discord. Oh yeah. Price Slinger, there's somebody came into our channel last Thursday and posted a blog, pricebasedtrading.com, and it has a pretty good journal there. Readability monitor. Yeah. What is the performances of Speculator Seth? Let me pull up the, yeah, remember, get to pull up Jigsaw here. Oh, one thing that I don't like about Brave browser is that it forgets, the smart browser forgets things that you visited if it hasn't been, it's been more than like a week or something. Okay. So going back to December when we started trading ZN and all the way to the 28th is the way that we're going to do it. And we need to limit it to ZN. Because if you include that E-mini trade in there, it doesn't look right. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Bum, 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 ba-dum. If you're not, you should see this. Yeah, there you go. That's our performance. So, I don't think we're quite past the combine with when you include commissions. I think we still have a few hundred to go. So yeah. Oh, and if we scroll down here, 48% win trades right now. and 39.7 losses. So a few more losers than I would like, but overall pretty good. Contact's bothering me today. That's not good.
Okay. Impulsion_pro said good job.
Mm-hmm. Well, look at that. They're 3,000 by 3,000. Oh, and they took it. So that may have been the first indication here that sellers are coming in. I think that treasuries are going to come down here back to the VWAP, and equities are going to take another leg higher. What I think is going to happen. Paul89, so Bitcoin is surging on SegWit news by the looks of it. Really? I don't really see any. Well, first of all, I wouldn't call that surging, but I do like the setup. I do like the setup. Okay, Bitcoin Core 16 was released 2 hours ago. Okay. Major version. Let's see here. What was the changes? SegWit wallet. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would make a big difference. Native SegWit addresses. HD wallets by default. Replace fee default. GUI changes. RPC changes. Okay. So it's mostly just adding SegWit into the wallet, which is not like a huge deal in my opinion. I mean, the blockchain was already, the memory pool was already, emptying out. There's not a whole lot of volume going through. Not necessarily a huge deal. But I think that this setup that we've been on support and we're starting a bull run, and if this bull run can continue, and I like that it's at the beginning of the week, we could see 1200 by the end of the week. That would be really positive. Well, let me, how about you digest that and tell me what you think, and I'm going to take a few bites of food. Hmm. So here's a thought, a little conspiratorial. Here's Charlie Lee. The flippening, where Ethereum is worth more than Bitcoin, will never happen. But the flappening, where Litecoin has a higher market cap than Bitcoin Cash, will happen this year, and he shows a graph as an example. I think he's wrong, but Charlie Lee supposedly doesn't own any Litecoin anymore, right?
February 26th, 2018, 8:30 a.m. for Jan, 2018.
I don't know what that is. Anyways, supposedly he doesn't own any Litecoin, right? Like he got rid of it all. But what if he bought back in and didn't tell anybody? And now he's pumping it again. I don't know. I don't trust that guy. I don't trust that guy any further than I could throw him, which I could probably throw him pretty far. But you understand the meaning of the phrase, right? I'm just saying, I don't trust the guy. See, you sell everything and then you say, "Oh, I sold it so that I can be more transparent." Bullshit. You sold it because you knew that it was you knew it was overbought. Because you have the same. Okay. So here's the fall that we were looking for. So I don't think that where we're at up at 330 was a good place to take a short, and it came down through there a little too quickly. I guess I wasn't really paying attention, but here at the VWAP now, I could take a trade here, but you know it could bounce off the VWAP, so I'm gonna wait a little bit. Yeah. What do you see over here? Why can't I send image? Oh, let me fix that.
Impulsion_pro said.
The Bitcoin daily chart still looks cancerous to me.
Impulsion_pro said okay.
Yeah. Well, I can't say you're wrong. I mean, let's look at it. Right. So this isn't a daily chart, but you can see pretty far back, right? What does that look like? I mean, this right here, that is a cup and handle for sure. But I can't say that it's entirely like stellar either. I mean, if we'd hit 1200, maybe I would feel a little bit differently about it. And if we get a higher high and we get 1200.
Impulsion_pro said.
Oh, okay, yeah, he can post some things. The rise of automated trading in between 2012 to 2014 and 2014 to 2016. Yeah. So I was saying this, so on the automated trading thing, to switch subjects, I know I'm so ADHD. Wait, let's finish this. This could look really positive if we get up here, and it, you know, I don't know what the probability of it doing that is, but my indicator says that we bottomed. So I don't think that we're going to get back below 8,000. I don't. That's my thought on that. So on the robots, somebody the other day was challenging me on a comment I made quite a while back about the robots, and this was my claim that the reason that we ended up with low market liquidity was because the high frequency traders turned their robots off, and therefore they weren't providing any liquidity. And I still believe that. And they were saying, well, how do you know, like, what makes you think that the robots can't adjust to high volatility conditions and stuff? Well, because I've turned them off before. I've worked on systems where we turned off high frequency trading systems that went awry. So sometimes they screw up, and you have one big player pulls their liquidity, and everybody else is losing money. Then they all turn off their liquidity, and you get what happened. You get a flash crash. And all I'm saying is, this didn't happen before the rise of automated trading. Okay, it didn't. I mean, we had big swings, but nothing like the the flash crash or this thing that we saw at the beginning of February. The most comparable thing that we have would be Black Monday. Is that what we called it? Or was Tuesday or Thursday or something like that back in the 80s? You know what I'm talking about, back in the 80s. And I can't say if that was a lack of market liquidity. There was a reasonable reason for them to be going down back then. Now we get these huge falls for no reason. Like, there's no news event that triggered it. It was just rising rates is justified for a 10% decrease in price. Come on. I don't buy it. There was people turning off their high frequency trading robots. I trust Roger Ver a lot less. Well, yeah. The thing with Roger Ver, I I haven't seen him do anything that I thought was patently dishonest. Although I'm sure you're going to share something with me. It seems like the thing that he did that most people hate was just calling it Bitcoin Cash instead of renaming it to something else. But I think that it was the right choice because their vision of Bitcoin, in my opinion, is more what is the word? It's not that loyal. There's a word that we commonly use in this situation. More true, I guess. Yes. Their version of Bitcoin is more true to the original Satoshi white paper than what Bitcoin Core is doing. It straight up is. I mean, they changed the protocol in Bitcoin Core for starters. Okay. Now, I don't think that Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the longest chain, but I think that it's more adherent to the vision, and so I think it was correct to call it that. But that aside, I haven't seen him do anything patently dishonest. Just seems like a guy that's really passionate, idealist, and is maybe a little bit pompous and makes his argument poorly sometimes. That's what Roger Ver looks like to me. But I don't see him. Well, I take that back because we have seen some evidence of pumping in Bitcoin Cash, haven't we? It came out. It's already come out. We should have traded it when that was happening. If we come back here and pull up the chart, and I'll show you what we're talking about. This run right here was a pump. It was a pump and it came off. We know it was a pump because our indicator says that price moved faster than the underlying transactions did. Way too much for that to just occur organically. It was totally a pump to make it look good for when they were on the news. Okay, so now we're back to 27.5. So we were right to not try and take it right at the view up. So this is where chatting a little bit with you guys, even though it distracts me and maybe I miss a trade, that was probably kept me out of a bad trade. Now I like that ZN is coming down and ZB is coming down, but ZF is going up. We're seeing a little bit of steepening through this move. Not too significant though. So on the Satoshi Light thing, I think he's going to be wrong. I think he's going to be wrong because as far as I've seen, a lot of the movement in Bitcoin, Litecoin, has been pumping activity as well. Whereas Bitcoin Cash has had fundamental moves. And I think that at this point, the SegWit thing isn't a big deal, or isn't a driver of the trade right now. The memory pool is not a driver right now. And that was one of the arguments for Litecoin. So if the argument for Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash just went away, what are the arguments for them now? Okay, so I like what I saw when it got filled there. This is still a little risky because we didn't like convincingly push through the VWAP, but there was enough selling volume there, and I am seeing some selling coming into ZF now. So I like where we're at. Anyways, so what is the argument now if
the traders said the only way is a new high and Draghi is the engine face with tears of joy.
What is the argument for them? And I think the argument for Bitcoin Cash right now is that core can't be trusted. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying that's what the people that are buying Bitcoin Cash are going to say. And what can Litecoin say? Because they're associated with Bitcoin Core and Blockstream. So that's kind of my take on that. And not only that, but Litecoin has been around a lot longer compared to Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash is a much more speculative play. I mean, of the major cryptocurrencies, the big ones, Bitcoin Cash is the most speculative because you're betting that eventually they're going to win out and people are going to switch to, what is essentially an older version of Bitcoin. What are the chances of that? That's a pretty big gamble. And so because of that, Bitcoin Cash will tend to see larger swings. So I suppose it could be true that you might see the market cap flip, but I think that in percentage gains that Bitcoin Cash will do better. But we'll see. I don't know if Litecoin is in the best spot right now. Let's look. Where is it at? We need to pull. I don't even have it on my watch list. Just doesn't interest me that much. Okay, here's Litecoin bit in the USD. Okay, Litecoin looks a lot like Bitcoin Cash, actually. Yeah, so another thing that's a problem in Litecoin, if I bring this chart over here, is this pump that they had in December was ridiculous and created some significant damage on the chart. So, yeah. We'll see what it does. I wouldn't say it's a bad buy. I mean, you're still going to make money if you buy it. You're going to make like 50% as opposed to if we bring up Bitcoin Cash. Oh, I have it on the watch list here. Okay. We're probably going to get to the 3,000 at least. So you're going to double your money in Bitcoin Cash. In all likelihood. So I think your probability of doubling your money in Bitcoin Cash is better than in Litecoin. I'm comfortable making that prediction.
Brand said he speaks 10 minutes after NYSE open.
Does he? Is that not listed on my thing? Um, where did I see that? And it's just, oh yeah, I did see that, but it wasn't. I ignored it because it's not for 10 minutes. Def Pluto, hey guys, Bitcoin and my Neo blew up too. Bitcoin isn't up that much. Why are you guys so excited? Am I missing something? Am I missing something? 6% is no big deal. Like, we're where we were last week. When we're over 1200, then I will celebrate. Your Neo is doing good, yeah, up 16%. Now that's something to be excited about. Good job, dude. I am still considering buying some Neo, but we'll wait until March investments. So yeah.
Trade the traders, said Seth.
Yes, if big buyer comes here, you will be stuck. Yeah. I can't read your whole thing. It kind of cut off on the image. Trade the traders, but I think you're saying, that 270 is a step in the profile, and that was kind of a place for a buyer to step in. Um, and in retrospect, it looks like that may be the case of what is happening, but I'm not. Uh, I'm not too concerned about it. I feel that the way that the delta is, well, the way that the volume is running right now, the spot, they should try range extension back the other way. I think I just picked a poor time. I should have waited. Should have waited a little bit more. And I don't think I should have been taking it before this Draghi speech, because Draghi might be dovish, you know? I think that Draghi speaking was probably a better reason not to take the trade. Yeah, the numbers that you have on your DOM are a little bit different from the ones that I see. You might have a different timer on, like, when it resets. Yeah, it's just kind of like a signal for upcoming altcoin parties. If Ethereum blew up following Neo, in my opinion, it's an absolute signal for an altcoin party. Yeah, well, did Ethereum really move? Oh yeah, actually Ethereum is looking pretty good too. Ethereum just needs a little boost to above 880. Okay, so there was a tick up that was a pretty bad sign. Yeah. Well, not a ton of appetite to buy it right here at this spot. Of course, they could show up at any second. You know, another thing that should have been a signal for me to not. Yeah, there they took it that time. Was this right here? Too much.
Trade the traders, said at Seth.
Okay, here now he's got a little bit better reversal signal on the big sell on the bid. Look at the offer, nothing traded at the move down. Did they actually go offer at 26.5? Oh well, I mean some went through at 26.5, didn't they? But it didn't trade the last time that it traded through. But I took it before that happened. So I should have taken it off earlier, I think, is my conclusion from that. But maybe shouldn't have taken it at all. Yeah. Okay, so now Draghi's gonna start talking. They may have been. They shorted it for it to go back to the VWAP, and then they took it off because Draghi was coming in, and I should have.
Trade the traders, said. Yeah. I can read the trader's face with tears of joy.
Yeah, okay. It's pretty hard to read them in the VWAP sometimes. I've had really good trades at that location. I've had really bad trades at that location. Now I remember saying, well, this is maybe not the best spot, but maybe we're going to get a good enough volume to come through. But I think I was misreading that.
Tucker said, Seth, you were making a directional decision right in the middle of a choppy HVN.
Yeah. I still think they're going to do it. I know, I'm so effing stubborn, right? what I see is we came up to a single print. They were able to push through it. It was extremely heavily defended, and we went back down to the VWAP. And then when we got back down to the VWAP, they didn't take it.
Tucker said it hadn't yet shown a drop to 260 or 255. Maybe you improve your basis by a tick or two by being early in that case, but at the end of the day you sold basically the lows and then they.
How come it didn't set my stop there? Sometimes it doesn't work right. What's with that? Yeah, well, it was a bad spot. It was a bad spot for sure. But I feel pretty confident in my direction. More so now that we're absorbing 6,000 at 29.5. Let's reset that. Level 2 games. While we're doing this, we should pull up our tweets so that we can see what they're talking about with Draghi. Well, they should be selling it more aggressively than that.
Tucker said I was looking for that absorption at 295 as well, but I'm not seeing much backticking.
Yeah.
Tucker said literally right when I hit enter the market moves. No position, but I should market a bot to trade when I type.
See, they're probably going to tick down here, and then we can see. Okay, so that doesn't help. So one did go through at 29. It could tick back and forth here a few times, and if they actually
Tucker
put a
said
decent
the thing that
offer,
felt off to me was that there wasn't a constant stream of orders hitting when we hit 7K. On the good ABS plays it's like 4K, 5K, 7K, 8K pause.
then
10K,
it drops hard.
12K, and then it drops hard.
Yeah. No, I think that the way that this will work is if we reverse here is this bid at 29.5 will get over 1,000, and you'll start seeing a lot of orders start to push through 29, and then we should start ticking down really fast. If that doesn't happen soon, then we're stuck in a range. Okay, so that's what I was looking for. So now are they gonna start trickling through? No, they're just gonna play the level 2 games.
Tucker said IMO that 5K at 300 is bait.
I don't know.
Tucker said make it look weak, run it through highs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't like that we ticked back up and we got 16. So if it ticks back down and we don't get a good offer, I'm going to get out. If they start buying 30 really
Tucker
hard, I'm going to get out.
ZB, ZN all close to highs.
Yeah. And I don't see any Draghi news coming through yet. Apple confirms uses Google's cloud for iCloud. That's funny. Nope. 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 I wanted to see them put a good offer on it. Absorbing at 29.5 is even worse. Is like the worst thing that I think I could see there. So I could still end up being right and this being a good spot to turn around, but I'm not. I don't think that my probability is good enough to be risking it. Okay, and it ticked down in 25.6, so I would be getting out anyways. 1,000 still is not enough. Bitcoin's been around for 10 years? What? Okay, so even here's what we wanted to see. And they're not really pushing it. And what happened over here? We got into the middle of a zipper. So unless I have like a really significant reason to believe that the probability is down, I don't want to be in that. We can wait for it to tick out of it and take it down if it flips there. What is my Twitter? Just Speculator Seth. Speculator Seth everywhere. Yeah, I put it on. So when I did this, I want to say when I did this, I wasn't sitting here thinking, oh, we're gonna have like this huge community, because in my mind, like we have an awesome community, and I'm surprised at how big we've grown. I know it's not huge, but in my mind, it's like, wow, tremendous. Okay. I just thought that it was going to be a record. Like that was the main thing. And so I put everything under Speculator Seth so that 10 years from now, you know, if I did well, people would be able to go back and see everything that I had done, and it would be easy for them to find. So I put Speculator Seth everywhere.
IQ said ZBCR equals 7 back to OpenZB taking off or.
And I made sure that, you know, it was open, that the name was open everywhere that I would need it. So, yeah. So I have it on Twitter. I can make other accounts if you want. Look, I can make a Facebook page if people would like. Yeah. Check Bitcoin on the 1 hour chart. I would definitely call that a surge. Okay, so let's move this to a 1 hour chart. Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. When you look at it on a 1 hour chart. Oh, that's Ethereum. No, we want Bitcoin. Bitcoin on Bitfinex. Yeah, you're right. It really popped up from the bottom of the range there. I guess you know what, I look at higher highs and lower lows is one of the biggest things that I look at. So for me, it's really hard to get super excited until we have a higher high. And we're not quite there yet. So in my mind, it's kind of like, this could just completely collapse in the next hour.
IQ said my money is on the pullback LOL. IQ said I thought you were the whale, LOL.
Okay, how many ticks is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Trade the traders said europarl.europa.eu.
Well, let's look at this. Yeah, it won't play for me. Okay, so there's a slight probability at the moment that we move down. I don't know if it's super strong. Because that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Alligator said risk-off trades due to Italian elections and Germany coalition talks give core euro bonds strength.
Yeah.
Alligator said bias up, also new Fed chair talk important.
This is a good point. Okay, so we are seeing a little bit of volume down. Well, there was an iceberg at 29.5. Buying, okay. Yep, so that would be our signal to try and get long.
IQ said I.imager.com.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with Rackley. It's not a clear direction. It's a great setup. Don't get me wrong. The location that it turned around at, and the fact that it's the beginning of the week, and the overall look of the chart and everything, it looks like a good setup for Bitcoin to go higher. But the probability of it actually happening, we can't say. So Rackley, you haven't even taken like scalps? I mean, there was some okay movement last week. Yes, sir. This is developing the way that I would expect it to move higher. Lots of backticking and absorption at 25.5. Yeah. that 29.5 has become quite the high volume node, hasn't it? In fact, if we get 2,000 more here, which is about what it would take to push through it, it would become the point of control. Yep, they're going to take it up, and it's going to become the point of control here now. In all likelihood. Man. It's now been in here for 15 ticks. That's obscene. They usually don't get this far. Like, to have been in a range this long is highly unusual. Highly unusual. Something's going on here in the 5-year. Okay, so yeah, there it is. Point of control. Convincingly so, by the way. 5-year is one watcher if this starts bailing. Come on. Wow. This is getting stronger. Wow, there it took it. They took it. I haven't responded here, interestingly enough. We might see Tyler pop in and grab that. Nope.
Trade the traders said who can do something with it?
My probability is switching back to random now. Okay, well, there's ZB. Stepping up. Should go through now. And look at that. Oh, come on. So ZB didn't actually make a new high, did it? It came very, very close.
Delta said, what you mean? Is there some error? Sludge said, Seth, do you mind throwing the BTC futures screenshot down to Crypto THX?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, gee. Yeah, there you go. Okay, if it doesn't take it this time. If it doesn't take it this time, we could be here all day. Come on. You know you want to. Okay. Ugh. Really? Why? Why? Why are you gonna be like that? Okay. Well, at 15, it was 55%, and now we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I don't know. That's not necessarily a good sign for a new high, guys. But it could do anything right now. Okay, well, there you have it. They tick down. This order might not get filled. When we got an okay spot in line.
IQ said big NR at 18 ZB.
Yeah. Look at this. Nope. That didn't work out either. So what did we... Okay, so we lost 3 on that, so... New home sales expected in a minute. Is that right? Yep. In 15 minutes. The false breakout. Normally after it ranging for that long with that much volume coming through, you would have a pretty good opportunity to go short there, and it just didn't come out for us at all. Oh, didn't see your comments here. I was binge watching John Oliver this weekend. One of his shows was about active management of funds. Someone did a test with a cat to pick which one to buy, and the cat had a better return than those firms. They also always underperform the S&P 500. Yeah. Well, it depends on what kind of a fund you're talking about. And there are some hedge funds out there that will give you better than the S&P 500 sometimes. Significantly more, but they're very risky. Those people are taking on a lot more risk. But most of your funds, especially like a mutual fund, not worth it.
Market Steve said, "Ah, cool, thanks. I used crude as an example. I see it on CME, even barchart.com, but I don't see them listing Bitcoin futures. Maybe it's too early."
I don't know, they have it in there somewhere. This action is frustrating because you can see that it's like long, forever long trickle one way whales. So we can't predict what it's going to do yet. Okay. Well, I think that was a pretty significant uptick. See what I'm talking about? They immediately sell it down. Well, there you go. Probably gonna hit a new high here now. Notice that big jump there in the 5-year off of almost no volume. Yeah, we should see a new high here. I honestly could have taken a second contract there on the back tick. When I took the two before, I was just trying to adjust my price basis, and that's why I puked on it so quickly. Anyways, I think that we'll see at least that 20. Or not the 20, 121.02 even. It's kind of funny because, I'm sure Trade the Traders might be thinking the same thing. When when we were trading there at 29 halves, I thought, okay, the point of control becoming this price that's basically like two or three ticks below the high of the day. That's a pretty good sign for a push further. um, and that's why I started taking some longs in there. And then it came down, and I was like, okay, they're not going to take it. They're selling it. I sold it. And then somebody showed up in the 5-year and saved it. So this did end up being a good long signal, but the way that the trade went was so flaky. And even now, while we're sitting here at the highs, I'm sure it's going to go further. But I mean, look at this. They're trying to be as, you know, they're feigning weakness. Oh, I'm not strong enough. I don't know if I can pull up 2,000 contracts to get a new high. It's so hard. Tricky little gits. Even now, they keep backticking. They keep ticking down again. Come on. And the 5-year and the 30-year have both done it. Made it. Excuse me. Made a higher high. I'm almost certain that this will do it as well. Really? There we go. Yeah, I think the CME has the commitment of traders COT report as well. I think the symbol is like under X. It's like XBT or something like that. It's there. I am certain of it.
Market Steve said so basically 5 vs 9 long short on leverage and
They were talking about Bitcoin there, and that's why I muted it for a second. Like, seriously, this is so dumb. I mean, I was right, but Zian didn't take any of it. Is it because we're still flattening, even though we're moving up? Come on. And they only put up 300. How much have they taken here now? Okay, so there was a 5K iceberg. That one point that I missed. The probability that it makes a new high are super high right now. I can see so many different things saying that it should be a new high. It's a weak high. We have all of this absorption here at the top of the profile. The only explanation that I can come up with is that there's some spreading going on here. Looking a little better. There you go. Because just boggles, like, what am I missing here? Because if I wasn't in right now, I'd be clicking that 31. I mean, how much better of a setup can you really get there? And of course, people are selling it. Look at that. Come on. Okay, now it's unfinished auction. Come on. What am I missing? But just people taking profits? I don't know. Well, somebody's gonna touch it. Come on. Yeah. Seriously. ECB Strachey says, we anticipate that headline inflation will resume its gradual upward adjustment. Well, that is hawkish. Draghi says inflation has yet to show sustained upward trend. I love how that zero hedge takes a different look at it. Oh, inflation's not going to happen. Okay, so here's this headline. I'm seeing it show up multiple times from multiple outlets now. I do not see an immediate reaction from the markets. The euro area economy is expanding robustly. Growth is stronger than previously expected. Yeah. Inflation has yet to show more convincing signs of a sustained upward adjustment. So the way that these different outlets are interpreting it seems mixed, but I'm starting to get the impression that Draghi is still skeptical that this inflation is ever going to show up. Oh, we did have the 8 o'clock news. I forgot. New U.S. home sales drop for second straight month. Yeah. Downside of trading fixed income, it doesn't really move until economic news or global events, but when it does move, it's enough for a couple of days. If you mess up or miss that move, you have to wait a solid couple of days for the next big one. Yeah. It's very true. Well, I mean, you can still pull a little bit out every day. But, I can pull like $50 out every day versus, make a $500 in one day on those big days. Where are we? Here we are. Got one Neo dumper on Bittrex. Yeah. I personally don't feel like today would be the best day to be buying Neo, but I could be wrong. So this is the issue in cryptocurrencies in general right now, is that there has to be a new reason for people to buy. Like there's a lot of people that are still in, but I'm not seeing the new people come in. Maybe India, the new exchange in India, that's some new demand. Maybe Russia picks up and comes in here. I have yet to see that. Seems to me that the serious buying demand like we had last November just isn't there yet. People are still feel burnt. So we're going to absorb 5,000 contracts each step up, huh? Wow. Okay, so that was a lot of volume come through there.
Block sell.
What? How much was that? 3,000? Tyler sold. Well, that just washed everybody out, so there could be an opportunity for people to buy in here. Or, sorry, that could be an opportunity for people to sell out. See them hitting it now. Really? See, the downside about having all this volume here at 29.5 is that if we do get below it, they could have just as strong of a flush the other way.
Trade the traders, said Draghi speak.
Yeah. They published the notes, or the text.
Delta said finally.
Given the uncertainty surrounding the measurement of economic slack, the true amount may be larger than estimated, which could slow down the emergence of price pressures. We anticipate that headline inflation will resume its gradual upward adjustment. So he's saying that it's not going to be so hard. Recent volatility in financial markets, notably also in exchange rates, deserves close monitoring with regard to its possible implications for the medium-term outlook for price stability. Goldman's trading desk had its worst year since 2004 because they got rid of all their traders. That's why. Well, let's see what Zero Hedge says is the reason. According to the world's biggest incubator of central bankers, Goldman had just 4 days in which it generated profits of more than 100 million. This was the lowest number of sessions since at least 2004. Yeah, they did. Bank suffered 31 days of losses in 2017, the most in 2 years. Really? Should put that there. Prices as reflected in bid and offer spreads are under threat. Ah. There we go. That's a good tick up. The overall decrease was primarily due to lower levels of volatility. And with Goldman predicting a 23% increase in buybacks this year to a record $650 billion, which would suggest a further drop in the VIX, and thus Goldman's VAR, one can understand why Goldman is increasingly shifting its strategic focus to consumer-focused lending and depositor platform markets, i.e. old-school banking, which in a world where trading is no longer as profitable as it once was, is the Plan B alternative for a Lloyd Blankline. Mm. I mean, that's not necessarily all bad for them because they have been investing pretty significantly in that direction, and they're pretty well positioned. And because of the rising interest rates, that's going to be a good, profitable environment for them. But it does kind of say that they may not be as profitable as some of their competitors.
Blah blah short blah 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 short blah blah face with stuck out tongue and winking eye.
Yeah, he didn't say anything all that significant, did he? So you get this
Alligator
bubble up.
said ecb.europa.eu.
Yeah. Huh. The pain from 20k sticks for a long time. Perhaps 15k would see new investors buying hard again. Oh, good morning, Dave. You know, Def Pluto, when I think about that, because 15k is up there. I'll say, I think that the level to look at right now is still 1200, just because that would be a higher high. But I think that what would excite people the most wouldn't be a specific price level, but a certain percentage gain in a day, you know, like a 10% day in Bitcoin. That will excite people, you know. That'll make people that didn't get into Bitcoin or puked and said, "Oh, it's over before," go, wait a second, maybe I should try and catch it this time. You know what I mean? Oh, don't apologize, Dave K. We're always glad to have you when you're here. But I think that it's the 5%, 10% moves, these huge moves in Bitcoin. That's what attracts people to it. And now that you have all these, like there was the upgrade, for instance. I think that sometimes when you have those kinds of events that people kind of hold off because they've already bought in anticipation of it and stuff. And did you see the news about Poloniex? I did not. So what happened with Poloniex? Wow, hacker returns 20,000 Ethereum to CoinDash. Goldman Sachs backed Startup just bought Poloniex. Oh, okay. What startup? Now Circle is preparing to take the next major leap forward by attacking on an entirely new business. I see. Well, okay, so to say that they're Goldman Sachs backed is not quite as significant as it sounds from the headline, right? That just means that some of their funding did come from Goldman Sachs, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Goldman Sachs has their back or anything like that. They're just squeezing. See, another 7. I might have to extend my target. If I see another one show up above us, I might extend my target. As long as they keep fighting it like this. So the bigger question, do you think the market is going to tank in the coming week/month, or is it going to continue its bull run? Well, I think that equities, so I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, but I think that equities here is going to recover. I think that they're looking good. I think that we could at least get back up to here. I think that they should at least retrace that, what we're going to call a single print on a daily chart. Bitcoin, I think that I'm going to go with the same answer that I gave when we came off of 20K. When the indicator hits one side of the channel, it tends to go to the other side. So I believe that Bitcoin will continue to move up until it reaches an overbought condition. And we're not even halfway to overbought at the moment. That being said, though, the caution is still that I don't know if we're going to hit a new high. At the moment, there is not enough interest, activity, transaction value in Bitcoin to make a new high. Not even close. Right now, it kind of almost looks, it's starting to look like a death spiral. That's what I'm saying. Like, we need a big day. If we have a big day, then, you know, we could start seeing people come in, and you could see a flood of people come in really, really quick. So we can't read too much into it because it could just come out of nowhere. But until we see it, it's not going to happen. April, the S&P drop and then bounce. I said April. Well, I mean, I think that what we've seen is a pretty healthy pullback in equities at the moment. You know, we've seen this before where you come up there and it's kind of questionable if it could continue throughout the year. And what has happened in at least in this bull market is that it will just get miraculously saved and come up out of nowhere. So I think something that like if I'm going to go into a scenario where like a really detailed scenario that probably has a very low chance of actually happening, but that's just kind of how I think about it. I think that there's a good chance that between now and May that we get another good bull run.
Alligator said 120.10 is important. Remember the way down, battles land.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that we could have a good bull run, but then you're going to get sell in May and go away. I think that this summer is probably going to be really tough. And then we could come back in you know, like maybe October and have another really crazy run like we did last year. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Is I think you'll have a bull run and then it will kind of come off and people will get really skeptical again and then it'll keep going higher. The thing with equities. So I understand why people are concerned because we're taking on a lot of debt for starters. And you know, the tax reform, there's a lot of skepticism about how much the tax reform actually helps the economy. But that's not a reason to sell. You know what I mean? Like, we know from all of the analysis that I've seen that it's a buy. Like it helps the economy. It just doesn't help the economy as much as they've been saying it does. So like if the market is overbought, like that's a great reason to take profits, but that's not a great reason to go short. And at some point you're going to reach the valuations are going to be equal again and it's going to be buying. So until I see something like an actual weakness in the economy, an actual real risk, I think that we could make a new high this year, frankly. It just might not be until like November. Well, we have another week high. And once again, they're all acting like they're not going to take it any higher. Notice here, by the way, that NCF, they sold it. And then it went and broke a new high. Yeah, on the commitment of traders reports, somebody's going short. Somebody's losing money on this thing, man. Like they've been doing it for well over a week now. Where was it? Where was the last one that we saw that was significant? It was like right here. They did it here as well. You know, like let's just say that the conspiracy theory of ours is true and that somebody has been manipulating the futures. They're selling it here and then they're planning on selling all of their bitcoins and making money off of the futures going down. That's a risky trade because it does not take a lot to push the price of Bitcoin up, you know? It just takes like one whale, and there's so many robots and everything that just want to go along. It can just move against you so fast, you know? Yeah, it worked, but What's going to happen when you get a margin call? And that's a big trade. Sooner or later, it's going to blow up in their face. Maybe not this time, maybe not the next time, but sooner or later, it's going to blow up in their face. Well, the supply is getting less and less, so the circulating supply is getting smaller and smaller. Small wins, right? Think about the supply. I don't mean the total supply. I mean the actual supply that is not being held. Well, so I think what you're saying, Dave, is that the number of Bitcoins out there available for you to purchase is going down. Yeah. And that is good for the price of the coin, yes. But I still say that, well, so the problem is that the amount that changes is so small compared to the transaction value that the transaction value will almost always win out. So I calculate, in my indicator that is a variable in my indicator, how many coins there are. But I'm just using like the total supply, like theoretical supply of like all Bitcoins in existence, not necessarily how many are trading. So it doesn't necessarily show that contraction. But when you actually look at that number, it's the transaction value is so much bigger of a component in that formula. So yeah, I mean, it helps price for sure, and that's why that's one of the reasons why I think that ultimately in the long run, Bitcoin will tend to make a new high. But and I don't think that it's anywhere close to like an all-time high. I just think that this particular run, you've got to see transaction value. You cannot come up and make those new highs without the transaction value. Yeah, it's like a factor of 5 from the current total supply. Yeah. It's like you're changing the numerator by like 1%, and you're changing the denominator by like 200%. It doesn't make a significant difference. Another thing is, I read this thing where because they kind of it was I think it was a paper from Wharton's business school, and he had an explanation for the like an economic model for the price of Bitcoin that it was very, very similar to the formula that I use, except for in one aspect, and that was that he included another metric called velocity. And velocity to them was how much is a Bitcoin reused. So like the total supply of Bitcoins doesn't really matter if those Bitcoins that are available are changing hands a lot, enough that the people that need to buy are still able to buy it. And that brings price down. And here again, oh yeah, congratulations, Dave. And again, it kind of like almost cancels out the amount that the supply is going down because of that. But again, it's such a small component that I don't even think it's worth putting into my formula, because it would be so complicated to calculate, if not impossible, to estimate what the actual real velocity of Bitcoin is, and then you put it in, and the indicator works great without it. So yeah. Yeah, I think it would be impossible. I'm sure that they have ways of estimating it because they do this for regular currencies. But would I be able to calculate it with the data sources that I have? Probably not. You'd have to have some new algorithm that looks through the blockchain and says, you know, what percentage of the Bitcoin pool is being moved every day or every week or something. You know? Yeah, if you could keep up with all wallets in real time, you could know what is actually being used. Yeah, exactly. You could look at the blockchain and calculate it. It's just that there's not some place where I can easily go out and find a number and plug it into a formula. I would have to write an algorithm that connects to the blockchain and looks through it. Same like there's an algorithm out there that goes to the blockchain and estimates what the transaction value is of everything. If that wasn't out there already, then I wouldn't be able to do what I do because I'm not going to write something to do that. That would be way too complicated. Especially for different blockchains. And that's why I just let CoinMarketCap do it for me. And now that we have 2 months of data, we should be able to start getting the top 100 coins. I just maybe... Well, I'm busy Tuesday, so it might not be a week or two before I'll be able to give you guys that. And I spent this weekend on the taxes. Well, that was a really, really bad downtick. If you had a blockchain crawler that just does plus minus for wallet addresses, yeah, but I think you'd have to be able to look at that particular coin. How many times was it reused? And I'm not even quite sure what the mathematics behind calculating velocity for a regular currency is. How do they figure that out? Register as a church and you don't have to pay taxes. There you go. No, I wouldn't do that. I haven't been haven't done too bad on the taxes this year. It wasn't as good as last year. Well, okay, so Dave is saying you could know what is actually being used. Do you mean like, how much of the coins are actually being used on like actual transactions versus just trade and holding? I don't know. This doesn't even really matter because I don't know enough about velocity to even talk about calculating it, other than that I know that I would have to connect to the blockchain and analyze the blockchain. Okay. Yeah, if we had it, I could certainly try and plug it in. Although another thing is, I think that I doubt that anybody else is using that metric. You know what I mean? So it might not be so great for trading. It would be better for like a really super long term view. But I doubt that you would see price respond to it as well as it does with the calculation that we're currently doing. Or it just wouldn't affect the current calculation very much. Is another possibility. Just because no one is publicly using it does not mean it is not useful. No, that's true. I just think that you would have softer reactions to it, if that makes sense. Okay. Here they are to stop us out. You didn't tell everyone about my air quotes. Oh, no one is publicly using it does not mean it is not useful. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think with my indicator, I don't think that anybody out there has like charts quite the way that I'm doing or things like that. But I'm pretty confident at this point, especially the way that they came down to where it should stop and like they intentionally sold through it, says to me that there are people out there that are aware of this line in the sand and are actively gaming it. You know, versus for something that literally nobody is aware of. You know, it's gonna be different. You're not gonna see people game it, at least, and it's certainly not going to act as like a hard cap, you know, resistance or support. That's why I say it would probably be more useful on a really long multi-year type of basis. Okay, I like that tick up. I saw people selling software on YouTube that hacks Bitcoin and you get 0.1 each day. He asked 0.02 Bitcoin per license and people in the comments were actually buying it. Oh, that's awful. For real? They can't even, like, my gosh. But yeah, you post it, Dave, when you start your channel, you give me the link and I'll subscribe to it on YouTube, and then that way everybody that's following this channel will at least be able to see that your channel is out there. Okay, so there was a tick up. It wasn't like the most spectacular one in the world, but it'll do. Especially if they buy 31.5 here. Now, I wouldn't be buying 31.5 here, so I can't expect anybody else to. Why buy 31.5 if you can get filled at 31? I didn't want to shamelessly advertise here since this is your channel. No, that's fine. It's not like we have like hundreds of people in here trying to spam everybody all the time with stuff. Although we do get those discords. I try and do everything that I can to stop the people inviting you into other discords, especially these pump groups. But like, what are you gonna do? You could ban them, and then what? You just another one pops up. It sucks, but that's just the way it works. No, see, we got a network going on here, guys. The only way that this helps me anything is if you guys are being successful too. That's the way that I look at it. Okay, so now some did just trade there at 31.5. I think that might have been somebody getting stopped out. The focus is going to be mining tech. Oh yeah, that's right. You told me that a while ago. See, I need to do more about the Lightning Network, because it's interesting to watch the evolution in the RBTC subreddit, because they've moved on from Lightning Network. Well, it used to be Lightning Network is never going to happen. And then it was, well, Lightning Network won't even actually work, or it won't work as well as they say it will. Now they've just changed their argument to Lightning Network is evil. That the Lightning Network gives, it basically puts us in the same situation that we had with central banks, and this sort of like, it's like creating banks for Bitcoin is what is the analogy that they use. And I don't know enough about the way that they route transactions between each other to really say that matters. I guess I would see it as a problem if I can't transact on the chain and I have to transact through somebody's Lightning Network. I wouldn't like that, but I don't actually know the technical implications of that. It's B-trippin'. I've never heard of him. I'm excited to see, because I've been mining the Bitcoin private thing, and I'm excited to see how that turns out. To see what price does Bitcoin private start coming out at, because basically what you're doing is you're mining ZCL for them, and you get like a 3-to-1 bonus. But it doesn't matter if Bitcoin private ends up being like a third of the price of ZCL, right? Oh, there you go. It's going to be a stream for 2 hours. Yeah, haven't you heard of Bitcoin private? So there's what is it? Zcash, ZCL, which is a fork of Bitcoin already, and I guess they're going to fork off of that. Or is it not ZCL? Is it? It's Zcash. It's Zcash or something like that. And so what they're doing is they're saying they need money. The developers need money, especially to get it going on. Yeah. Especially to get it on exchanges and so forth, because, like, to get on Bittrex, you basically have to bribe them. Okay, ZCL is a fork of Zcash. So what they're doing is they're saying, okay, you mine ZCL for us, and then we're going to use that money. Obviously, we're not going to like sell it all at once and like crash the price of it, but as things move along, we'll sell a little bit of it, and we'll use that to fund our operations. And then in exchange, we'll give you a certain amount of the new fork to the address that you mined the ZCL to after the fork. And you get a bonus for mining it. So if Bitcoin private comes out and it's worth a third or more of ZCL, then it was a really good mining investment, essentially. Yeah, and that's going to be a different algo, I think. Yeah, I think you're right. That's why I stopped mining Garlic, which I hope was the right decision because Garlic changed their algorithm to Alatum. And my understanding is that when they switched, there was a short period where you could have gotten a really good, you could have mined a lot of it. Yeah, I don't have time to set up my miners yet. You know, the thing that's annoying to me is that it seems like every time I switch to mining something different, I have to like completely download like a completely new version of CC Miner usually. It's like usually a completely separate fork that works with it. There are of course forks that have a lot of different algorithms, but they're usually not the new stuff that you want to mine because I think that the most profitable things I've found to mine are things that are like really new, you know? Neo about to surpass Cardano and market good. So I don't understand the point of Cardano. I don't see why it's up there. Come on. This is just the slowest trade ever. Now notice how we had this huge push up. Well, it wasn't a huge push up. It was only a push up of like 3 ticks, but like tremendous volume. And they've been trying to bring it down, but the cumulative delta is just flat. I told you to use Claymore more. Why is Claymore faster? So for Garlic Coin, they made their own forks with this new algorithm that they've got. Came up with another blockchain idea, but you can't make money from it though. Oh. Yeah, Claymore. Well, the nice thing about Claymore especially is the dual mining bit. I've done really well with CC Miner. Man, come on. Stop ticking down. Oh, look at the E-mini making a run up. How's this going to affect us? Is this going to push us down or up? It's a charity blockchain. They're going to stay within the ecosystem. You can't trade them on exchanges. Well, how do they become worth anything if you can't trade it on the exchange? And now 30half is playing the level 2 games. That's not a good sign. You donate $10 to a charity and they give you $10 in coins that you can in turn give to another charity. Okay. But then how do they charity turn that into money that they can use for their operations? I know you get into it. I'm just 5-second delay and all. Oh, every coin has a fixed value. So it's a stable coin. It's like a stable coin, but it has this feature for charities too. How do you ensure that it's only used by charities though? You know, like people could scam you. Say that they're a charity and then just run off with the money. No. Better. The irony. A censorship-free sticky thread for skeptics, critics, shills, whatever. Oh my gosh. You've got to be kidding me, right? Oh, so we in r/Bitcoin, actually we do censor things, but this one time we won't censor you. So that we can answer you, what a load of shit. These people, I can't even, I can't understand why the populace of that subreddit isn't just completely up in arms. Like, this is ridiculous. Oh. I wouldn't rely on that subreddit for your information. You know, get them from multiple sources because there's clearly some problems going on there. Because you have to get listed on the blockchain. Like Neo doesn't allow anyone either. So for Neo, you have to do something to be able to be allowed to make your own smart contract. It's not just anybody can do it. So in order for there to be a scam, they have to successfully scam Neo. That the deal? That's actually a good idea. Don't invest in Dentcoin, yeah. Well, what I've seen is they've come back to the single print that got defended so heavily, and it's just kind of sitting here quietly. So I think that there's a chance that we get, eventually, we get some buyer come in and take us up. CNBC interviewed Warren Buffett today, and he shat on cryptocurrencies, so I doubt any institution will be buying Bitcoin futures soon. Well, I don't think that now is the time that you want to see institutions buying them, you know? You want to buy it first, and then watch the institutions buy it and bring it up, and then watch the larger public come in because of all of that. And when the institutions try and get out off of the larger public coming in, that's when you get out too. So I think that's a good thing. Institutions can come in above 15,000. See you later, Dave. The coins are always and only in the hands of charities, and an individual can't hold them. Okay, so that makes all sense. But how do you keep the value like tied to something so that one coin is always worth $1 or whatever it is? Official Galaxy S9 battery life stats aren't much different from the Galaxy S8. Okay, I have like an S6 and the battery life is a nightmare. I'd really like to see something better in terms of battery life. There you go. So this volume cluster that we're forming here at 30.5 and 31, where there's like 3 to 5,000 on both sides, that's now like, I want to say the third time we've seen that today. Well, equities did move up and bonds didn't care at all. Sounds like people are excited about the S9 mostly because it's keeping the headphone jack. Isn't that awful? I want this phone because it has a headphone jack and the other phone doesn't. But that's why people are buying it. That's hilarious. That's your innovation that gets people buying your smartphone these days. Oh yes, it's also cheaper than the S8. That's a good point too. The price matters. Yeah, Neo is still centralized, but DHFONG said they will. Did I say that right? It said they will slowly open up and be more decentralized. Even Neo nodes are companies controlled at the moment. I still like Neo because I believe those screened ICOs are better filtered than Ethereum. Ethereum has some good projects and plenty of BS ones. Yeah. Understatement for sure. I think they said that like 50% of the ICOs that came out last year are already dead. But like, man, that's no good. Well, we have been sitting here for a good 30 minutes. I take that back. It's been over an hour since we had that break of the high, and we've been sitting here. Now's the time for somebody to step up and move us. What are they waiting for? Right. Neo airdropping on March 1st. Also Binance supporting. You know, I don't think I ever got my airdrop from. Well, I mean, I should go back and check again. I don't think I ever got my airdrop from Garlic Coin. Like, it's one Garlic Coin, but come on. I'm gonna fall asleep watching this, guys. Man. mean, the sad thing is that I would normally, like my profit target would normally be here. I didn't even get that. And we had a good break. It's a very disappointing trade so far. They don't want to try and take 30 yet, though. I don't know. Bitcoin bitterness is starting to make divorces even messier. Oh man. Wish Binance would list tell us not getting much traction being on one exchange. Yeah, you gotta. Well, this is a problem with the Bitcoin private, right? Like if Bitcoin private ends up being on Bittrex, then great, I'm all in. But otherwise, what am I gonna do with it? Now, if it ends up being on Bittrex and the start price is really high, then I might just immediately sell. Okay, they are hitting that 30 way too aggressively for my comfort. Now, this isn't making sense because there was a pretty big buy here in CF. See that? Yeah, I don't even want to think about a nightmare like that. When I got divorced, it was easy. Like, and she was pretty what is the word? Cooperative. So I took the house and she took the car because they were worth about the same in terms of like how much money we had in them. And I mean, that made sense because, yeah, ultimately the house will be worth more, but she couldn't afford to keep it. So she just said, well, I'll let you keep it. And it worked out really well for me. And we knew exactly what each one of us would have gotten. And so I wrote it up and she was like, yep, that's exactly what I wanted. And that was that. Okay, well, I'm not quite sure how to read this price action. There's so many conflicting signals right here. We are seeing some buying in ZB. We saw some buying in ZF. ZN has just kind of been super quiet. The chart patterns are just kind of like random. Like I see kind of a head and like sort of a head and shoulders pattern in ZF, but the volume is just cumulative deltas all over the place to really say that that's what it is. I'm so glad I didn't sell half my house to my ex when we were still together. She has a child from a previous relationship and would have gotten the house. Well, it's been mine before I knew her. Oh, that would suck to have bought a house from before and lose it in the divorce. because she had a kid. Although I don't think we weren't married though. Yeah. I think you would have had to have sold her half of it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, why would you do that though? Yeah. That's like saying, hey, by the way, if we break up, you get half of it. Like, that's the only reason you would do that. Am I wrong? Or did she have money to put into it and it would have been a smaller payment for you? Okay, well, I don't know if I'm gonna get stopped out here or not, but I need to go. Oh, she asked to buy half, yeah. I'm not paying anything more in my house and no mortgage. Yeah. Wow, good job. Yeah, with my wife, now her divorce was pretty messy. And she got to keep the house, but you know, she had to give him half of what it was worth, right? And they were somehow able to pull a fast one and get the court to agree that the house was worth a lot more than it really was worth on the market at the time. So here comes. So she had to refinance the house and take a big chunk of money out of it and give it to him. And basically, at the end of all that, pretty much put her at underwater on the house, actually. But we did some improvements to the house, and the housing market was just really, really good last year. And in the end, she made so much money off of selling that house that there's no way we would have been able to buy this house without that. So in the end, she came out on top, even though she definitely lost in the court. Yeah. So we've been really lucky. And I'd have to say I've been really lucky because I look at other people that I could have married or other problems that I've seen people have, and yeah, I think both of us looked out of there. She's an incredibly emotionally stable person, and and she works really, really hard. So because of all of that and everything, we've been able to buy a nice house and we're pretty comfortable now. You know, not enough that I can like dump tons of money into cryptocurrencies like I'd like, but we have sufficient for our needs. Yep, there it goes. All right, well, I'm just gonna stop streaming right there because that was the third loss. So that sucks. But it's a Monday, should have known better. And of course, as people already pointed out, that first trade of mine was a pretty bad trade. So yeah, first trade was pretty bad, and then the other one that we took that was long that we took a loss on was ugh. So what a day. All right, later guys.